Improve your abilities in web advancement, programming, UI, robotization, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. One of the regular inquiries we get with regards to figuring out how to program is, what are some smart thoughts for tasks to construct? Presently, we hear the basic adage answers regularly, similar to assemble a chess game or order line interface. There is nothing amiss with these answers. In any case, we figure these models don't coordinate present-day programming needs. A major segment of present-day programming is SaaS and web applications. This implies you have to realize how to program on the web. There are significantly more complexities that go into programming a site or application that has clients, requires servers, confirmation, and databases. This powers you to associate with advances you'll never require when building up an order line spasm-tac-toe game. A portion of this can likewise be overseen by AWS and other outsiders that are usually utilized by enormous organizations. Once more, presenting you to advancements that are valuable and vigorously utilized in the business. This will be unmistakably progressively viable on a resume, just as assist you with figuring out how to utilize new innovations. Tip: if you pick a mind-boggling venture, at that point center around building each element in turn. Building a whole site or application at the same time is troublesome. Start by building a login page, or possibly the fundamental presentation page after the client signs in. In the event that you attempt to take all task without a moment's delay, at that point you will probably fail. Entertainment. 1. A web scrubber that posts top 10 online journals without human intercession. One of the issues we find with some undertaking proposal posts is that they suggest ventures that aren't actualized in a manner that energizes the software engineer to proceed with advancement. For example, I see that many individuals suggest building a web scrubber. When you've fabricated that web scrubber and scratched the information, what are you going to do with it? Rather than simply scratching the information, why not fabricate a site with that information? It doesn't need to be extravagant or get a great deal of perspectives. This scrubber could maneuver the information into a database and afterwards select the most famous posts. From that point it could duplicate the title, alongside a couple of sentences, and afterward make a post that it shares on the web. This would be a noteworthy and basic venture that you can really flaunt. You've currently demonstrated that you can accomplish something beyond code a little section of a framework. Rather, you can thoroughly consider a whole framework. You have to consider how you will robotize the procedure, deal with the database, make the site and select the posts. This likewise permits you to really have an unmistakable finished result. Without an unmistakable finished result, it's extremely simple to get unmotivated and just stop at just a web scrubber. What's more, you never know, possibly your site will get well known. Abilities: database, web scrubber, computerization, web improvement for the blog, and general programming. 2. An occasion-ready framework utilizing Meetup and Eventbrite APIs. Have you at any point needed to go to a band or entertainer appear, yet acknowledged it was a week ago? Perhaps there was a free meeting in your general vicinity on information science or enormous information and you passed up a great opportunity since you neglected to check. Why not make your own aggregator utilizing the Meetup and Eventbrite APIs, that will caution you when watchwords are in occasion depictions or titles? Presently, I expect both Meetup and Eventbrite have comparative choices. In any case, it is consistently amusing to attempt to fabricate your own framework. You can redo the framework to work the manner in which you need, and perhaps permit others to make their own alarms by making this a site. What we appreciate about this undertaking is that you can work on working with two distinctive APIs. This will permit you to analyze and contract what you like and aversion about them. That way, in case you're ever accountable for building an API, you'll have a superior image of what works and what doesn't. Aptitudes, APIs, database, computerization, web advancement, and general programming. 3. A9GAG duplicate Felyne. You don't generally need to attempt to rehash an already solved problem while making your own undertakings. Straightforward activities like a site that lets you log in, post photographs, GIFs, and lets you look through a feed, gives a chance to make a strong base site first. At that point you can include bunches of fascinating highlights like after, loving, and search. Search specifically would be an extraordinary opportunity to figure out how suggestion frameworks and AI work. It's consistently enjoyable to attempt to recreate mainstream destinations. Truth be told, it is really an incredible method to learn on the grounds that you need to figure out each element. Figuring out is an incredible expertise, on the grounds that as a product engineer you will continually be keeping up others' code and you should get in their minds. Abilities, machine learning, for proposal framework, database, computerization, web advancement, and general programming. Retail type sites. 4. A blessing proposal application. Have you at any point battled to locate the correct present for your companion? Imagine a scenario where you could make a site that assists with foreseeing what to purchase a companion for a blessing. It could permit the end client to either make a record or simply get a blessing proposal. Once more, this takes into consideration the chance to make a record which requires verification, database advancement, and so on. Additionally, another incredible part about this undertaking is you can utilize Amazon's API for associate connections. This will permit you to do a couple of things. 1. Find out about how to utilize APIs and get you all right with perusing API documentation. 2. In the event that you do it well, you can get a commission for every item somebody purchases. This undertaking additionally has a chance to attempt to make a fundamental AI model. You can make a test of sorts that attempts to make sense of what the best blessing is and afterward, in light of if individuals click the blessing or not, can drive the model to learn dependent on the reaction rate. Aptitudes, APIs, database, general programming, and application advancement. 5. A site for bargaining and exchanging. Think offer up, yet rather than cash, why not make a site that just permits exchanges? This idea will compel you to build up a few highlights that need some idea. You won't have the option to simply assault this task without an arrangement. By what method will individuals post, where will individuals find as of late posted things, and by what method will individuals search? These are independent highlights you can assemble. Furthermore, you have to figure how clients will connect, and possibly how they really make the exchange. The thought doesn't need to be 100% reasonable for reality, it should be useful in the feeling of improving your range of abilities as a software engineer. Aptitudes, database, web advancement, general programming, and application improvement in the event that you decide to make it an application. B2B. 6. Receipt and agreement, the executive's framework. Agreement and receipt, the board, are exceptionally mind-boggling forms. Agreements can have a ton of nuanced provisos and specifications that can be hard to follow. This makes this a generally excellent undertaking, regardless of whether you streamline it to a portion of its center segments. Deciphering an unpredictable business process into programming isn't simple. In any case, it is the thing that makes this venture a decent test. Once more, we wouldn't overcomplicate this. Take a fundamental component, such as contributing the provisions of an agreement, and build up this part first. At that point you can include different highlights like receipt following, contract investigation and determining. Abilities, process the board, database, web advancement, and general programming. 7. Errand the board framework. Errand sheets like Kanban flow are worked with a few secluded highlights that make it an incredible venture to mess with. It will take a little work to begin, as you should set up a UI that is strong and dynamic also. Indeed, this undertaking would be to a greater extent a two-man work. One individual to deal with the front end and someone else to chip away at the back end. Try not to let that debilitate you. This is really an opportunity for you to take a shot at your correspondence and collaboration aptitudes. You should talk through plans to ensure you both completely get it, and you know where your modules will interface. This is in every case surprisingly testing. Aptitudes, communication, front-end, database, web improvement, and general programming. 8. Work board. Any venture that constrains you to permit clients to enter as different sorts of clients includes a fascinating structure angle. By what means will you guarantee that the manner in which managers experience the site addresses their issues versus prospecting work searchers? Like the greater part of different ventures, you don't have to concentrate on every last bit of it on the double. Begin by attempting to make the capacity to make a vocation posting first. At that point you can proceed to concentrate hands-on searchers and how they react. Aptitudes, database, web advancement, and general programming. 9. A site that estimates benefits dependent on normalized informational collections. There are a great deal of informational indexes that are normalized for most organizations. This incorporates bookkeeping information which is generally founded on cost focuses, accounts, line portrayals, lastly the real exchange cost. What is extraordinary about the normalization of any informational index, is that it makes it simple to make investigation on said informational indexes. Why not make a normalized dashboard that can assist organizations with foreseeing spend, see month-to-month outgoings, and potentially assist them with improving their spending? For this undertaking you will presumably need to invest a great deal of energy finding out about how to ensure you keep your information secure. Obviously, we prescribe first attempting to manufacture the modules that emphasis on taking up and normalizing the information and showing it, before you dive excessively deep into security. That is a hair gap you may never get away. Aptitudes, forecasting, business rationale, database, web improvement, and general programming. Game ideas. 10. Snake. On the off chance that you had a cell phone in the mid-2000s, you've most likely played Snake. It's a straightforward game, however you can generally attempt to make things progressively mind-boggling. To begin with, start by simply attempting to make the game. This will expect you to make sense of how to build up a game on the web. This Neon Snake by Sebastian Opperman is an extraordinary spot to begin. Be that as it may, from that point forward, possibly you can include some cool new highlights like extraordinary things or exceptional forces. This would be an opportunity to mess about and have a ton of fun. This venture won't be as specialized from the viewpoint of having heaps of clients that sign up and utilize your site. Be that as it may, it is a decent test to make sense of how to make a game run on the web. Abilities, web advancement, general programming, and UI. We do trust this rundown moves you to make a great new undertaking that you can add to your resume and discussion about in interviews. Possibly we'll consider you to be the following CEO of a billion-dollar startup.